Gorgeous spot for a racecourse, isn't it? Ruakaka, with Marsden Point out there in the background, and yet the sea out the back as well. It is a lovely spot. Just seen on Twitter as well, Jamie Richards is following us, watching on the internet. So great to have you watching and tuning part of the Punters Lounge, Jamie. Even though you're not in the spot you'd probably rather be, watching Sort of Osman at Ruakaka this afternoon. One man who'll be doing just that is Brendan Popwell. BP, how are conditions?
Yeah, very good morning to you, Aidan Rodley. Yeah, the conditions are lovely and warm here. In fact, a little bit overcast, but it's a lovely day all the same, though, in terms of the heat here at Ruakaka. And we should be in for a special race day, shouldn't we, here, where we get to see the clash between Sort of Osman returning and Melt, who is second up. They are the two that really do dominate our feature on the program, which will be race number 7, the Cambridge Stud Northern Breeders. But centred around that is a very strong undercard, and of course the Gibbs Bradley team hold a lot of attention around their numbers here once again. And yeah, the track condition is in that dead 5 bracket, and also I suppose the big talking point is just where this rail is. It's a rail movement where we haven't seen it in the true position for 91 days. So just how important will that fresh ground close to the rail play out today?
We're seeing this race really become a good stepping stone to big careers, and I think we played 3 races yesterday on the first call, and all 3 of those Northern Breeder Stakes winners had gone on to be stallions. So it's a race we really are looking forward to, Brendan.
Oh, 100%. And look, it sets up for our spring, doesn't it? And it sets up for where horses go in terms of Hawke's Bay Guineas potentially, and then horses looking to press on towards the 1,000 and 2,000 guineas as well. So it really is that good springboard to be able to get a line on where horses are. And of course, we saw the release of markets for the 1,000 and 2,000 guineas. And as always, in those early markets, you're going to see a lot of movement around horses who win maiden races, as we saw yesterday with Lincoln Falls, and even throughout the week as well, with like Very Elegant, who's moved a touch as well off the back of her nice win again at Matamata. So it's a great time of the year, and certainly a progression of horses that we're going to see over the next few weeks, where horses will be jumping out of the ground looking like potential nice 3-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly, BP. Let's get into the form. We're going to bring in Stephen Hunt as well to talk betting as well. The first of the program is this, the Tavistock at Cambridge Stud Maiden, where Chapeau, who's catching last time, 3 and 135, comes up favourite, 390 and 170 for Cameron Lammas, 350 Yulong Express at 140 for Nigel Tiley, and 424 Power of Strength. Stephen Hunt, where's the early money going race 1?
Yeah, hard to give a strong lead currently, Aidan. Look, I can say Chapeau has been the best back runner, fractionally in front of Yulong Express. But overall, a pretty competitive market. Chapeau, $3.20 into $3. Yulong Express, look, the profile fits to a well-backed runner. The fact that it's Nigel Tiley, Leith Innes, being gelded, trial winner. Would have probably expected a little bit more money, but currently second best back runner. And Power Strength, a notable firmer as well this morning, 450 into 420, and looks to be a pace influence around Power Strength. There was one runner at the bottom of the book here, number 13, Let Me Tell You, who's been specced at longer odds. The race was to jump right now, Aidan. It'd be a losing result, but once multis filter throughout the day, I'm sure it will break even, but currently 51 into $41.
Okay, interesting money there. Yulong Express, Brendan, any inside word on this runner?
Well, let's get straight to the trainer, shall we, Aidan, and find out from Nigel Tiley around Yulong Express. And look, a horse who got it all wrong first time to the races of asking. Of course, that was on Boxing Day. So how's his progression since been? Obviously, he trialled up nicely.
Yeah, look, we gelded him after his first run at Ellerslie. He did a lot wrong, but I wasn't completely happy with him going into that race, but it was sort of a last-ditch attempt to try and get him in the crack a million. So straight after that race, we just turned him out and started a game with him, basically.
Okay, you went to Avondale. It was a heavy surface there, over 800 metres, and he, I thought, was nice. He was just in behind tempo, and he was able to present, and he gets up here by a long head, as you can see the video now.
Yeah, look, it was a nice trial. I mean, he was ready to go half a mile, and that was about all. I'm not convinced he was that happy in the heavy ground, but some of the others mightn't have been happy either, to be honest.
All right, well, nearly a month's moved on since, and now we're race day, and you've got yourself an inside gate. That could be a good spot to be in these early races with the rail position. Is he a sort of horse that can jump and run from there?
I think he will. Look, he'll probably just tuck him behind the speed and try and get him to settle in behind the speed and, produce him. And but you know, Ruakaka that can trip him up. We bought plenty up here in the past we thought could win and gone home empty-handed. So the local horses definitely have an advantage. But look, he's fit and I'm happy with him. So if he cops the track, he should run a nice race.
All right, well, let's move on to the Cambridge stud Northern Breeders, Nigel and Melt. Well, certainly she was very impressive with what she did here on the 1st of September. She's drawn in barrier number 1. What's your initial thought around that? Because we've seen her sort of sit back and produce a nice turn of foot. Could that be a barrier draw that which could be problematic, or is she a horse who can take a good spot, sort of either a trail or maybe 3 back at worst?
Yeah, look, I'm not worried about the one draw, to be honest. I mean, you know, the rail's in the true position. She's going to get a lovely run in there. It's just a little bit tricky to see where the speed's going to come from. I heard him say they're going to try and ride sort of Osman back a little bit, but he's a bit of a free goer. He might, if he does a few things wrong, it might set up a bit of a muddling pace. But look, she likes to just find her feet, and we're always in the back of our mind we're looking to get her ready to go a mile. So we're certainly not going to change her, her racing pattern. Her first up run was good. This is a lot stronger field today, of course, but she's a lot fitter horse for it too.
Yeah, so she has come on following this run, heading into today, 14 days later?
Oh, without a doubt, she's really, it's really brought her on.
Okay, and as you said, Ruakaka, she's had a look around here, and that's also a good thing. But you've also got in your mind to get into 1,600 metres. That's sort of that early season goal to get to the 1,000 guineas.
Yeah, that's the plan with her. Like I said, we're not going to be trying to change her racing pattern, just because we're at Ruakaka today over 1,200. So, but she's got that devastating turn of foot, and I think if the speed is on, it's going to really suit her. And I'm pretty sure today she'll strip a lot fitter from what she did first up.
Nigel, thanks for your time and all the best today.
Great, thanks, Brendan.
That's Nigel Tiley. Oh, Nigel, just while you're there, the monetisation did trial up just quickly around his trial and where the likelihood where he might be heading?
Yeah, lovely trial. Just went round, just had a look around, stretched his legs. Probably look at going to Pukekohe next Sunday with him, I think. It's only 1,200 metres, but there isn't really much around for him, so we've got to kick him off somewhere.
Right, cool. Thanks, Nigel. Right, Aidan, back to you.
BP, your selections just once more before in race 1.
Yeah, look, I was keen around Wings, actually, runner number 4 in the race. I thought this horse made some really nice ground here first time to the races. Now, this horse did lead them up in a trial and did it quite nicely around Cambridge. Look, I know he's a Cambridge horse, and that can happen sometimes where they can find the spot and very hard to peg back at Cambridge trials. But look, he did make some ground last time out over the 1,000 metres. He goes up to 1,200 metres, and look, I wonder if they can maybe try and be a little bit more positive with the horse. So look, I was just happy to take a price around Wings. Look, I certainly do like the chances of Yulon Express with the inside gate, and if they can take a good spot like Nigel's hoping to do so. Power of Strength does come out of a very strong race, Aid, in that loose cannon race. Look, there should be a host of form coming out of that race, you'd imagine, and also through the 11 into the mix in Chapeau, who's obviously taking that easier option after bumping into Melt last time to the races.
Exactly. Let's move on to the second. This one is the El Manzor Cambridge stud, another maiden 3-year-old. This one over the 1,400 metres. Call Me Murphy, a couple of third placings so far, 460, 175. Beast Mode was just undone in a speed race last time, 750. Hasbro, $9, 650. Lumberjack, who was eye-catching last time, as was Quizmaster, $6. Sahar at 480. And Imelda Mary now. Andrew Calder with that ride at $8. Stephen Hunt, where's the early money gone?
Again, very competitive race, Aidan. There's been half a dozen that have been spec'd in the first 48 hours of trading. Call Me Murphy looks set to start favourite at $4.60. We're appreciated by the 1,400 metres. Sahar, interesting runner resuming from the Baker Forsman stable. Very good support as soon as we open this market. A $500 bet at the $4.80 quote, and remains that price currently. Just going back to the local stable, the Chris Gibbs, Michelle Bradley, they have 3 runners here in Call Me Murphy, Quizmaster and Lumberjack. At this stage, all 3 of them have admirers without a clear lead out of those particular runners. Beast Mode is the best back runner, and what I say again is an open race. Opened at $9, has come in 1.5 points to $7.50. So a lot of confidence around this individual to improve from its first up run and stepping over 1,400 metres. Beast Mode, currently worst result at a $7.50 price.
Yeah, interesting race, and I think it's a race we're going to find some pretty handy horses coming out of it. Let's have a look at the speed map before we get you back to Brendan. Sahar, who was very good leading up at the Avondale trials, likely to get forward. Beast Mode got back here last time out, but expected to be going forward in this speed map supplied by formpro.co.nz. Brendan, how'd you see race 2?
Yeah, look, I can see Beast Mode pressing forward here, Aidan. Look, he's a horse who was undone here last time with a race that was run up front, but obviously where he was drawn here. I mean, he drew barrier number 13. He drew the car park in that particular race, did Beast Mode. He's a horse who will be able to find the plastic potentially here, you'd imagine, from barrier number 3. And even out of that race, he was not that bad. He was making some ground, wasn't he? He was only about 5 lengths off than Beast Mode. I expect to see him turn a corner in this race. Look, I really do like the 3 Gibbs Bradley horses as well. I really do think they're nice types. Call Me Murphy, Lumberjack. Gee, I can't wait till Lumberjack gets over a little bit further than 1,400 metres. And Quizmaster as well, a horse who was making ground when last presented to the races. But look, I leant towards Beast Mode just because I thought the value was there around this horse. And interesting to hear that from Stephen Hunt, that the punters were pretty keen to snaffle up around $9.50.
Have a look at Call Me Murphy first of all, Brendan. It was a really nice run down the outside, hit the line strongly, was terrific, and I think we'll go and have a look at Lumberjack on the back of this. Both of these runners look as though the extra distance is going to suit them down to the ground.
It does look that way, doesn't it? Look, I know Call Me Murphy's been a very well-spruiked horse going into this race off the back of a very tidy run back here on the 14th of July, obviously bumping into Von Trapp, and the horse was able to work home into the race and finish into 3rd position. And look, went round as a very short price commodity that day, went round at $2 and was working home over the 1,200 metres and goes up to the 1,400 metres. This is a horse in Lumberjack who found himself a lot closer than where he was on debut. Gee, he was well out of his ground on debut, over 900 metres, and he had a big flashing red light on his head, didn't he, when he rocketed home into 5th position. He's a son of Redwood. He goes from 12 to 1,400 metres today, and I really can't wait to have something on him when he gets to a mile as well, this horse in Lumberjack. So this is his effort when beaten behind Nelly Segundus, who we do see in the Northland Breeders, and he finished into 3rd position. And you've also got Quizmaster. Sahar did troll nicely through those wet track conditions at Avondale, which was probably a bit of a query about how he would be able to travel through those heavy track conditions at the trials, but he did it nice. He won by 2 1/4 lengths. This could be a race, Aidan, where there could be a very good form line for some horses that maybe go back to a sort of a midweek maiden and find a fairly weak race and might run very nicely into 5th or 6th position. It just could hold up as a reference. Happy to be back in Beast Mode as a strategy bet here at the each way quote.
Yeah, and or else it might be a race that we'll see horses springboard into black type out of. I think it's a really strong race. Let's move you on to the 3rd. This one, the Patrons Trophy over the 1,200 metres. Sprinters in action, including Prom Queen at 210 and 110, Ricky Tiki Tabby at 360 and 130. Stephen Hunt, when we spoke yesterday to Thad Taylor on the first call, the money was split. How about today?
Yeah, not much has changed, Aidan. Punters narrowing it down to 2-horse war between Prom Queen, Ricky Tiki Tavi. The way the prices are formulated, we feel it's around about an 80% chance that the winner will come out of the number 3 and number 4 in Prom Queen and Ricky Tiki Tavi. Like I say, it's just a very solid market. For those punters that do want to get onto Prom Queen, I think that price will hold up throughout the day, $2.10. If anything, we just want to tighten up that percentage. Currently trading at 122%. We'll look to get that down to 117, 116, close to race start. So, look, there's a little bit of specking around Amarula, 10 into 9. Tiptronic is friendless, notable, even though it's had a trial going to this race. A little bit surprised personally, but at 550, that horse potentially could drift. But back to the 2 favourites, very solid market. Potentially Prom Queen, as short as it gets 210, could be on the drift this afternoon.
Okay, let's see where Prom Queen ends up. Likely to be right forward from the get-go, we'd expect. She's the likely leader in the race, and we're going to go back and have a look at her in winning form as well. She's 2 from 2, Brendan, as we come to you. She's very well performed here at Whangarei.
She is, and look, it's an ideal place to kick off, isn't it, to be able to start on your home track. And look, let's wind it back 12 months to the day where she was able to win the Northland Breeders and really get a 3-year-old campaign underway towards that 1,000 guineas, of course, where she did taste defeat in that particular race. But of course, following this, she went to Ashburton. She was able to win the Barneswood Farm Stakes. They tried her through Australia. She had some very good runs through the Brisbane Winter Carnival, and look, she's come back. If she's come back anywhere near this sort of form, she's going to find herself in front. She's going to be awfully hard to beat. And look, when you've got some runners that are returning to the races, the likes of Amarula and Tiptronic, I really do like Tiptronic as a horse. interesting to hear that from Stephen Hunt, that the money hasn't really been there for the horse. Look, I thought sort of on ability, he might have been a horse who could have tested Prom Queen first up, but I know they've got some big missions in mind for Tiptronic upcoming this season. And look, his trial wasn't that bad from him. I thought he was working home nicely. So a bit of a watch on how he does race here this afternoon, Tiptronic. And Ricky Tiki Tavi's probably that one who could be that late sort of one that could get over the top of Prom Queen. But look, I was happy to run her through a couple of multis in Prom Queen and take the $2.10 with her being on her home track and going to be awfully hard to beat.
Yeah, I agree with you. That Tiptronic trial was really good, but here's a horse who hasn't even won at 1,200 metres, so I think we'll just wait for Tiptronic further down the track. On to the fourth, the Full Pot Air Freight. This one over 2,200 metres, scratching up the top of Ruakaka. Transformer at 260 and 120. That just means that is tightened up that little bit more. I was really liking Transformer here. Just stands out as a map special for mine. Los Angeles at $6 about Tavlin, $7.50 for Shockwave and Tabby Rose. Stephen, obviously, we're seeing 260, the book 410, the tote. It's a Transformer go here.
Yeah, this is the best lead of the day I can give over the 9-race program at Ruakaka, Aidan, around Transformer. The fact that the 4 top favourites in the book are trained by the Gibbs-Bradley combo. And Transformer, $2.60, all the rage as soon as betting commenced yesterday afternoon. There's been a 13% deduction, I should note, for punters out there who had a bet prior to 1 o'clock yesterday, with Rough Cut coming out of the field, who was a $6 quote. But yeah, it's all about Transformer. One of the best goes and best leads I can give to all the punters listening out there, currently $2.60.
Thanks for that, Stephen. We're going to have a look at Transformer last time out. It was a very good run in for second and behind Amazing As, who was terrific. As you can see, a clear leader in the race. I expect Los Angeles to be sitting on his outside, and outside that, I didn't think there was much other speed in the race. I thought out of this race, the one horse that I'd be looking at, Brendan, I'd be interested on your thoughts on it, was Ruakaka, who I thought was making very good ground from the back along the inside. I thought that was a horse who might be a little bit of value, but on this run, I think Transformer's going to be awfully hard.
Look, I'm with you, Aidan. Look, to be honest with you, you can see this horse transforming into a train and everybody wanting to climb aboard the Transformer train here today, because he really does look incredibly well placed, doesn't he, the son of power, I thought. And as Stephen Hunt has given us the lead around the money centred around this horse compared to the likes of Los Angeles and Tavlin, this is a very nice horse going past him on the line here as well, and Amazing As, who has impressed a lot of good judges here in the north around Amazing As. He's gone back-to-back, and Transformers really made him work for him down the lane. He's going to be in a forward position, and he's the one for me in the race as well, number 2 in Transformer. The 3 in Los Angeles, they've got the concussion plates on the front on for this runner, who ran 4th in that same race that we've just seen there. And of course, Ruakaka, as you pointed out, Aidan, who was working home not too far off them into 5th position. I was around the 2, 3, 5 combination, but happy to play Transformer here in the race.
Move you on to race 5, Brendan. This one, the Gibbons Harris down to 1,200. It's a rating 65 sprint, where 1 Baker Street resumes and has good support. 230.104 for Sam Spratt, 360 Sister Beals, 750 Money Trail, and $9 for Danger D and Felix 4. Stephen, 1 Baker Street, is there the push for this runner fresh up, or was it just about bookmaker respect in this market?
Well, definitely a push, Aidan. Look, I think the barriers have shaped this market, in particular around 1 Baker Street, drawn the A. Sam Spratt does the riding. Just touching on Sam Spratt, she's a $1.40 favourite to take out today's J Challenge on option 210. And she's got the warm favourite here in 1 Baker Street. Like I say, drawn barrier 1 looks to be the obvious leader in this particular race, where Sister Beale, the main rival, potentially the best horse in the race after its 3-year-old campaign last season, is a $3.60 second favourite, but has drawn barrier 9 and probably maps to get quite a few lengths off our Baker Street coming the turn. So quite friendless at the moment, Sister Beale, $3.40. Was as short as it got. It's now a top fluck of $3.60. Money Trial's come in a couple of points. You could have got double figures this morning at $10, now trading $7.50, currently a losing result. And outside that, it's been a pretty friendless market, and 1 Baker Street looks very popular in multis as well, Aidan. Around about 300 multis in progress on number 8.
Yeah, interesting to see that Sister Beale is friendless. We're going to take you back to the trials once we've had a look at this speed map. As you can see from barrier 11, it's going to be a little bit tricky about where she gets. Same with Money Trail, to be fair on that. Felix 4 likely to be the leader according to our speed map. I thought Straight Sets was probably on speed along with Felix 4 as well. Let's take you to the trials at Te Teko. A couple of runners we're going to look at for here. Both of these horses in the Brendan Lindsay Cambridge stud colours. The horse out wide is Riva Dirci, who goes around in the Northland Breeders' Stakes. But let's have a look at Sister Bill closing off, I thought, for a very encouraging second. That's Astor on the rails, Brendan, who wins the trial, but Sister Bill not bad at all.
Yeah, Sister Bill was very good here, as was Astor. But yeah, Sister Bill was a horse who was 3 wide on speed, and I really like the trial. I'm sort of with Hunty there with what he was saying. Potentially one of the best horse in the race with what we've seen from her last season, Sister Bill. Look, this race could play into her hands as well, though, couldn't it? With the torrent of speed that's likely to be here. As we've seen with one Baker Street, who does have the good gait and is the horse to beat with what we've seen when winning a maiden here by 4 lengths. But with good other tempo in the race, look, they could run along. That could mean there's a chance for Lee to be able to slide over and find a position, and could be the horse who could roll over the top of good pressure in the race. So, look, I was just happy to roll the dice on her if that was to be able to pan out with the likes of Straight Sets and Swissair and Felix 4 of the other runners that can run on speed as well. So, look, I went with the 6 on top, as I said, as a bit of a spec bet if it can run along up front and help her roll into the race. So 6 to beat 8 in the 5th of the day, Aidan.
Good stuff. Let's move you on to the Ruakaka Cup, sponsored by Logan Racing. And this one over the 2,200 metres, the favourite is Major Tom, 310 and 135. BT Junior, we heard from Stephen earlier on, 420 and 160. The money coming. His Cavalier was very good here last time, 480, and Jake the Muss at $6. One of the best goes of the day, Stephen.
Yeah, important time of the day. What are we, 3:34 this afternoon around BT Junior, Aidan. Gee, they've come out of trees as soon as betting commenced. What was it, Thursday afternoon around BT Junior? I reckon it was around about a minute or two after we opened. We accepted a $5,000 bet on BT Junior at the opening line of $5.50. A number of 4-figure bets hovering between $1,000 and $1,500 on BT Junior. He's now short as $4.20. He opened at 4.6 this morning, so the money has continued to flow in the first 2 or 3 hours today. Look, I can see Major Tom being very well supported late in the piece here, so we're pretty confident to hold that $3.10 price around Major Tom. He was six weeks going into his previous run at Ruakaka after the back of a Rotorua race on a heavy track which didn't suit. So we've got a little bit of faith around Major Tom that he can still perform and beat BT Junior, and I think, like I mentioned earlier on, the money will come for him, but late in the piece around Major Tom at $3.10. Outside that, he's Cavalier, a pace influence in the race, has been well supported this morning, $5.50 top fluck, now trading at $4.80 around he's Cavalier. And look, this one's worth mentioning, particularly with BP around the traps. We've had a $200 bet on Smedley at $61. He holds that price currently, but at 61, he's the biggest liability with that $200 bet around number 10 in the book.
Yeah, Brendan Popwell, no doubt $200 lighter, but let's have a look at the speed map there at Ruakaka and see where they're going to end up. He's Cavalier, likely to get to the front with Greencast, maybe ridden a little bit more positively. Brendan, we'll get a comment on Smedley very shortly, but first of all, let's have a look at He's Cavalier, who was devastating late once he emerged from the trail here. I thought it was a very good win.
It was a good win. And look, to be honest with you, been really waiting for He's Cavalier to win a race this winter, and hasn't raced that bad all winter, has he? He's been over shorter distances. They've tried him over distance this campaign. They had a shot at the Whangarei Cup, and he just got in the right spot here, didn't he, when tried over the distance of 2,100 metres here on the 1st of September, where he was able to sit in behind Major Tom. Look, I think there is a good turn in the screws today for Major Tom to be an improver here this afternoon. There's no doubt about that. But once again, there's no reason why He's Cavalier can't take a decent spot and be a chance again for your trifectas and first fours. Look, it's a sort of a race where we've seen Greencast race well, and we've seen Jake the Muss. They've all sort of get their turn, don't they, these type of runners. And BT Junior's a horse who's third up today. Blink is going on, and this was the run when last presented to the races when they did have Olish McCall aboard. And gee, doesn't he do some good things late here on a heavy track as well. He just looks like he's going to get a right spot in transit, doesn't he, Aiden? This horse, BT Junior, with his barrier draw, Leith taking the ride. And as I said, he's 1/3 up in the past. You can understand where that money is coming from with all those factors into play with BT Junior. And look, I'm with them as well. I'm pretty big on his chances of taking this race out, BT Junior, so much so I've made him my best bet today, this runner, BT Junior. In the Ruakaka Cup. In front of the 4 Major Tom, I do believe this is a horse who can be an improver off that defeat here a couple of weeks ago, Major Tom. Then the 3 in He's Cavalier, and the 7 in Jake Demas. And as for Smedley, well, where did that run come from? It was a run where we've sort of been waiting through the winter to see him return, and he popped up at around $8 for a place. Maybe 200 for a place wouldn't be a bad bet. Maybe.
Good work, Brendan, good work. Let's move you on to the feature. This one, the Cambridge Stud Northern Breeder Stakes at Group 3 level. 220 about Melton, 280 Sword of Osman. Stephen, who's best backed outside that pair?
Currently Sword of Osman, Aiden, only fractionally, probably holds 2 times more money than Melt. Look, there's no surprises here. A lot of money has tracked it around the 1 and the 8 and the 1. Rated around about 80% chance the winner will come out of those two, the filly and Sword of Osman, the colt. So, look, no surprises to really touch on. Madison County solid at $7.50 in that third line of betting. Mr. Universe, 21s, got as high as 23, just trading at 21s around Segundo as well. And Ridavici, or Rivaducci, should I say, opened at $12.50 earlier in the piece, now shopping at $10. Look, there's a bit of conflict of reports going around Sword of Osman, whether they go back, take a sit or lead. I think it's important punt information, whether we can get that during the day through Brendan. But at this stage, at the moment, punter's pretty happy at $2.80, depending where he sits in the race, regardless.
Yeah, I mapped them in front. It'll be interesting to see how the Form Pro team have done that. Let's go and have a look now and just see where they do have a Sword of Osman. And yeah, out in front with John Wick going forward from a wide gate. Madison County, where's that in the map? I've got it going back. Well, certainly was up outside the leader in the trials and was up in third place at Hastings last time out. I thought it was a speed influence in this race. The speed is going to be all important, isn't it, Brendan? And yeah, it sounds like Stephen's putting the acid on you to do some homework around the traps there at Ruakaka today.
That's right. Well, we'll endeavour to try and sort something out for everybody. Certainly with Jamie not being here, but we'll certainly get a connection around that. And look, that has been a talking point because look, I know the team is so keen to get him to 1,600 metres and to be able to try and do that, they want to try and settle the horse. But when he's been at his best as a 2-year-old, what's he been doing? He's been in front and he's been able to kick away from them. So first up, this campaign. Look, I've sort of got the feeling that they're going to press forward with him, Sword of Osman. Look, that pressure could come from John Wick out wide, who's a horse who does like to go forward in the race. Then you're starting to look around horses like maybe Segundo could take a spot. But look, I was keen on Sword of Osman here to be able to try and come over the top of, or try and beat Melt, should I say. Melt's going to be a horse who's got the trial and the run under the belt up against Sword of Osman, who's just had 2 trials and no race day as a 3-year-old. So that is the conundrum, and that's why probably, as Stephen said, 80% of the market is centred around them. But I'm going to go with Sword of Osman to lead the Group 1 winner and beat Melt. I don't think there's much between them, though. Outside of that, it's a race that I'm certainly interested around the likes of Madison County, about how that horse will perform here this afternoon off the back of that trial, which was out of Avondale. And Rivaducci, this is the horse that I'm most interested here today in terms of following. His win was massive on a track condition he didn't like one bit, and he won by, 8.5 lengths on that occasion. I thought his trial was okay. He's a real watch horse for mine in the race.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Brendan. Absolutely. Let's move you on to race 8, the Whangarei Love It Here 1400, and see the big banner on the board, the advertising board there up there at Ruakaka today as well. Mongolian Conqueror, 350 and 140. You heard a bit of a word of warning when we spoke to Scott Lucock earlier on. Nick Bacard takes off 4 to 58.5, 440 about Yearn, $6 OCD and $7 Richie McCaw. Stephen, it's a race where we really want to know the market lead here. What can you give us?
Hard to give one, Aiden, to be honest. What I can say is that Mongolian Conqueror, there is a little bit of trepidation around this individual, as there is with Yearn. We profiled Yearn to be quite forward after a trial and is suitable 1,400 metres first up. But at this stage, it's quite friendless Yearn in that second line of betting, 450s. Look, it's hovered around that price. We haven't had the need to drift it in particular because the lack of money overall in this race. There's not too many horses they're speaking to beat Mongolian Conqueror Yearn, but they're not coming out of trees for those top two in the market. Currently a bit of speaking around Richie McHorse, 750 into 7, and also the stablemate Rockabye Baby, very solid at $10. But yeah, sorry Aidan, hard to give a lead in what is an open rating 82 1400.
Yeah, I'm interested in Richie McHorse here, and also interested to see where the Form Pro map has him as well. He's a horse who doesn't have a lot of early speed, but from barrier 5, they might just want to be sort of taking up a midfield position here. I thought his run last time out, Brendan, was very, very good. It was the first up run that you want to see. A horse who was hitting the line nicely, and he has in the past improved second up. I expect if they can get him a little bit handier, that he'll be a real factor in this race. How did you place him?
Absolutely. Look, I think he's I reckon he's worth a spec at $7.57, just because of so much unknown around Mongolian Conqueror first up. Look, this is a terrific run. I mean, the horse is last on the inside, and it's been a race that's been dominated by first, second, and third, where they just found their spots very quickly in the run here. Dance, Contessa Vanessa, and Padrag, and they were the horses who finished into first, second, and third position. And it's really about watching Richie McHorse on the line and through the line. Gee, he's climbing all over them here, isn't he? Late in the piece, Richie McHorse, over a distance of 1,400 metres. Good last closing sectional from him. If he can be, as you said, just a little bit closer, just a pair or two closer than where he was here when last presented to the races. He's a Hawke's Bay Cup winner who put in a devastating turn of foot to be able to win through autumn in that particular race. Maybe it's a case of maybe you want to back him at 1,600 metres, not 1,400 metres. I'm happy to take that chance on him today at around $7. 6 on top, in front of the 9 in OCD, who was massive in winning that race at Hawke's Bay, because it looked like Aim Smart had it cold, and then he fought back strongly to be able to win on that occasion. And yes, the one Mongolian Conqueror, he's got a class edge on the runners in this race, of course, second in the New Zealand Derby. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm happy to be watching Mongolian Conqueror here.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same as you, Brendan. We've found the same horse too. Well, the sounds, Richie McHorse. Let's move you on to the last of the 9, the Whangarei ITM. This one over the 1,600 metres for the rating 72 gallopers. Final suggestion was terrific last time with the scratchings of Caricature and Fila. 450 and 185 does come up favourite, and yeah, the smaller field, I just wonder whether that's going to play into his hands as well, because he can be the horse who leads him throughout here. Kachi at 750, second favourite. Ogai, who was terrific here last time out at 850. Further down, Poker Face at 750 comes off the ballots and looks to be a decent chance if the pace is on. And Renee not bad last time out at 11s, as was IC Red at 10s. Stephen, where's some money in the last?
A race that's flipped on its head on the back of those two key scratchings who sat in 1 and 2 in betting, the likes of Caricature and Fila that both came out yesterday, ran about a combined 32% deduction with those two individuals. So look, the interesting runner is Poker Face off the bench. Aidan has been well supported even prior to getting into the race, but the money has continued to flow since it's made the final field. Poker Face, number 18 in the book for Roger James, $9.50 when betting commenced yesterday afternoon. It's come in 2 full points of $7.50 and shares that second line of betting with Kachi, the local. Back to the favourite and final suggestion, very solid at $4.50. So if you do like this horse, it's won 2 of its last 3. Don't get put off, $4.50, very solid there. But a specking round, Ogai for Stephen McKee, number 7 in the book, was a very good winner on the 1st of September, steps up in grade and distance, but again, not putting off punters. So that's probably one of the best backed in the middle market throughout the card today, Ogai, number 7. Could have got as high as $14 prior to deductions, now trading at $8.50.
Yeah, I'm liking what we're hearing there about some of those key runners and the money that's coming for them. Let's have a look at the speed map for you. I had a final suggestion out in front as it's a Form Pro map here, with the other one expected to go forward was Narvik, who did go forward at Hastings last time out, although it did fade from there, so whether a change of tactics will be interesting. Creative Genius, the stablemate map to go forward on our map here. Final suggestion was terrific last time out. Brendan in really good form, beat a whole lot of the rivals here, so does have that form on the track as well.
Look, it does, and I guess it's staying the same grade again today, doesn't the horse? Final suggestion, and look, there's a lot to take out of that race, isn't it? When you've got the likes of Kachi and Kyria Lace on, they were all doing nice things in that particular race. It's a good betting race to be able to try and get out if you are behind in the final race of the day. But I lean towards Final Suggestion, who can take that forward spot and running. Look, I do like the chances, though, of Karchi and Kyrie Lason. They are horses who potentially could turn the tables on that horse if they get the right sort of run here today. Kyrie Lason is drawn a barrier number 1, can take a nice sit just in behind the speed and have that last chance to run them down. Yeah, interested to hear that money around Poker Face. Look, he's a horse who's always looking like he would have won more races than he actually has. He's had so much bad luck in his career. So he does have a gait, and he could be a horse worthy of consideration in the last race of the day. But I lean towards Final Suggestion, but probably a race that I want a few other runners on my quaddie ticket.
Yep, exactly. Brendan, we've given you $100. How are you playing?
Certainly, it's not going on Smedley anyway. It's that $200 bet suggested anyway with Smedley today. Let's hope he runs well, though, the old boy. But look, I'm going to go towards Beast Mode in race number 2. I think his each way quote is tasty, $7.50. He can jump to the front from a good gate. Like Transformer, so putting 30 to win on Transformer. My best bet today will be BT Junior, so 30 to win on him at $4.20, or if you're locked in, 5.5. And then Richie McHorse in race number 8. I thought a nice little each way bet at around $7. Best bet, BT Junior, and I thought Beast Mode was a nice little each way today.
Liking what you're doing there, Brendan, and of course your alternate betting strategy was all over the place on Smedley, wasn't it?
Yeah. Look, as I said, Aidan, he has been so good to me that he doesn't owe me anything. So maybe I'll chuck him in a trifecta today.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Thanks for taking us through Ruakaka. We'll be back with you prior to race 1. Also have Awapuni this afternoon. Really looking forward to that. But first, before we leave Ruakaka, Valachi feature runners. In fact, these are as well. Awapuni, the ERS in race 6, and Vacillator in the 8th, prepared by Colin Little. You're with the First Call Live.